All right, so in my kitchen, check it out. I was making my pre-workout, and I was like, okay, I was thinking about relative like thoughts, and it was like, just example, I send a link of something. It was truly ridiculously priced, and so it was like a Samsung TV, really expensive, and so I send it to someone who has more money than me. I'd be like, hey man, here you go. Here's that TV. You should get this TV, and then they'd be like, that seems ridiculously expensive, but they're not like a billionaire. So then I was just kind of thinking, and I was like, it's kind of weird how that works out, because my joke response was, well, if you were a billionaire, you'd be asking why the TV doesn't cost more, because it's relative to like how much you have. So then it was like, they're like just different levels. So the person that has more money than me, clearly look at where I'm living, dude. I don't have that much money. I don't have nice things. So like maybe I would, I've got some supplements. Here we go. So maybe I would spend, we'll just say $30 on some supplements here. So the person that's, for me, I'm like, $30, health wise, I'm like, that's worth it, but in general, I'm like, that's kind of a lot, so I have to be like, okay, that is worth it, but it's not cheap. And then, so maybe there would be, someone who has even less money than me, and they would be like, no way would I spend $30 on some supplements, for whatever reason, reasons behind it's just the amount, so it's like, I could be buying this and I'm maybe just comfortable. I'm like, okay, I could get a $50 supplement, that'd be a little much. I could get a $20 supplement. No, I don't want to go that low. Like I'm comfortable, accepting this. So someone else, like I was saying, you have someone who's more wealthy, and then they would be like, why are you even worried, about that? Just get the $50 one. I would just get the $50 one. And it's like, it's relative. But it's just a whole different thought process. So then that person above me financially would be like, well, why don't you just get, I just get the $50 one. Like if you're wanting to work out and you want the supplements, like those are the better ones. So that's what I would get. And then, like I said, the lesser person would just be like, I couldn't afford, any of that. I don't know. This was just a quick video on the like relativity and how like I can take my situation and change my perspective of how I'm seeing it, and it would totally reframe how like the situation that I'm in. And the way that like the visualization and stuff like that seems to be is to, kind of become that person so that, and I have to become that person so that I'm thinking like that person and taking those actions. Because if I'm not that person, then I would still just take the actions that I am taking. So that being said, I didn't just buy the $130 supplement. I did buy a couple because I'm like, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. And then now I'm like, I'm going to work towards the goal that I have, which would position me to be able to just comfortably, have a different perspective on my life experience. So I would like to have that different perspective where, I'm not really having to worry about stuff. And then, so for me personally, we're 4 minutes in, I'm just going to keep going. So a little bit of what I've been running into is like, let's say that I don't actually have anything to do. Let's say that I don't have anything to do. Man, I don't have enough imagination to think of things that I enjoy. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm still figuring this all out for myself. And, it's for me because these are my issues. But it's like I finally had extra brain power, and it's like, what am I going to do with that extra brain power? So like, let's say I hire an assistant to do a couple things. So technically I have more free time. What do I do with my free time? I worry. I just started worrying about, I wasn't worrying about the things that I was having to worry about. I found new things to worry about. And then, so I'm just like, okay, I could keep on changing things, and then I would just find new things to worry about. So I've got to just try to look at myself and be like, what is it that is the problem? Why am I trying to find things to worry about? So right away, right now, I'm like, well, it seems like that's the easiest thing to think about, is like a worry, because you don't even have to think about what to think about then. You're just like, worry pops in. Oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. But then it's like, even if you pretty much get rid of all of the worries of the immediate worries, then there's like an existential worry. So I've been trying to consciously replace any like worry, any kind of negative thought, like maybe if something's kind of creeping in. Now, I don't run from the problem. If there's something that I can address, if there's an issue or a problem that's like, that I'm thinking about, that's like, oh, I can do that, and I should do that. I should do that, and I can do that. On those issues, I'm trying my best to say, okay, I know what to do, and I'm able to do it for that problem. So I'm going to try to eliminate the problem, not by not thinking about it, but by addressing it. But other problems that I'm not able to address, I just have to remove those from the thought stream, And then I just fill the thought stream with other things, man. So not even like, a new car, but I'm not saying like a brand new car. I'm like, yeah, man, I like like when I was younger, there were some cars that I like, dream cars. And now I kind of actually like could afford those ones. And that's kind of, I think, what I would actually just like, because I have that sentimental like connection with it. So me getting this vehicle that was kind of my dream vehicle, it's like, that's kind of an exciting thought. I don't think that that's the purpose of life, but I'm just kind of working through a lot of stuff here. And those are things that seem like kind of tricks for myself to think through things. But also, it just seems like, I'm not sure if it's the algorithm or what's going on, but it seems like a lot of people are like posting videos where they're just kind of opening up and just being real, Even like some big channels. I think I saw a couple big channels with like 1, 2, 3, 4 million subscribers. And, they were kind of just opening up a little bit. So I don't know if something happened where like we're kind of being more open now. But also feeling that we're maybe feeling some of that pain of being more aware. And now we're aware of that pain, and, we don't really know what to do. So everyone's just kind of opening up a little bit. And that's a good opportunity for connection, because for me anyways, that's really what it seems to be like, dude. They're like, supplements or a car or whatever, like those are things on the earth while we're here, those, we can use those for our life experience. But I was listening to Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, and he had, I think, quoted something in that from someone else, but it was like, we came from somewhere and we're going somewhere. So with the time that we have here, like let's try to make it special. Let's try to make it special. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to steal a car so that I can have the car, but it's like, you know, what I want for myself, I would want for everyone else. And happiness, you know, not that those things bring happiness, but usually you bring in experiences. Anyways, this is just that. Those are like, that's how I'm seeing things, and that's how I'm able to kind of see things. So this might not make sense exactly to anyone who's listening to this, like with the specifics, but it's like if it's possible to kind of resonate with what I'm saying, and then it's like you could be doing totally different stuff, but it's like, okay, I think we're kind of experiencing like the same or a similar thing, you know. And that connection of like me seeing other people kind of opening up, and then in the comments, you know, you got a lot of people. It's like, dude, the world, it is a good place. It looks like a bad place. It sounds like a bad place. You know, it just, there's so much tough stuff going on, but people want to be good. People want to be good. I want to be good. I know that. I would love to feel good and be good. And, you know, it's just like you get frustrated sometimes, and when you get frustrated, you get upset, and then there's fear. And, you know, and then you just kind of start reacting, you know. But when you act, you know, it's like a different, you can love with action, you know, but like a reactionary, I don't know if you can have reactionary love, you know. You have to give an act of love. That stuff all seems kind of weird, but anyways, I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm gonna hit up the Stairmaster and get a sweat on. That's my plan. I'm gonna get my sweat on. Not a self-punishment, but just I need to go hard, man. For me.